de Los Ángeles, ya tuvimos las primeras visorias allá. Ahora con la gente de acá de San José, la verdad, pues desearles el mejor de los éxitos.
¿Qué onda, mi Cesar?
Aquí andamos.
A bit of a different episode today.
Un poquito diferente, different setting.
Just a little bit.
One that you guys haven't seen.
Acá in nature, no? Welcome back, folks, to episode 155 of golsided. This one's for sure different. This one's for sure different because we're out on location. We are volunteering. We're helping out a little bit over here at Del Mar High School in San Jose. Closer to Campbell. Campbell, San Jose. And we are here with the boys over at Pichichi. If you guys haven't seen them on IG, follow them, Pixixi. They're doing a camp for the kids.
Yeah, they did one down in LA, and now they're moving up here to the Bay Area. So they've recruited quite a few kids, ages like 15 to 18.
Put them through some camps, and that's what we're seeing behind us right here. There are trials for those kids, local in LA. They have a whole squad in LA now they're doing it here in the Bay. We came out, we got asked by the boy Juan, who runs Pichichi, basically to come out and just be a presence here. We helped out with our hands también, ayudar un poco. Cesar got to talk to Claudio Suarez. He's out here. So we got to
dab him up, say what's up. Tell my name. A ver si se acuerda.
We got to meet some scouts, some ex-professional players. And, just having a good time now, just watching the kids play. We might make some content out of it. But it's all good and fun out here, so hopefully you guys like the scenery. But we got a whole jam-packed agenda for you guys. Episode 155. We got the Club World Cup, and we got Gold Cup again. That's like es lo importante. Right?
Ahorita es lo que todos quieren mirar.
And everyone, we'll talk about it in a second, but everyone's loving the Club World Cup. But we'll get into the nitty-gritty. We got a whole bunch of games to talk about. Pues para empezar, we can start off with the Club World Cup. Y goddamn, Cesar, everybody loves the Club World Cup now.
Yeah, I mean, even when, the quote-unquote lower teams están jugando de todo, la gente are tuning in, watching.
Not in the stadiums.
Not in the stadiums,
not so
unfortunately,
much.
Yeah. But, I mean, I feel like, the American crowd is a bit different to European crowds, where europeos, sea lunes, sea miércoles, sea viernes, domingo, they'll show out.
Yeah.
But in the States, la gente trabaja, it feels like.
But, I mean, mainly the clubs that have been showing out with the crowd has been the South American squads.
South American squads, Palmeiras,
Boca Juniors has, like, hands down has had the biggest crowd.
Yeah.
They were fucking going viral with, like...
In Miami.
Parecía la bombonera in, like, malls.
Yeah.
And River Plate kind of showed out. I think they had good numbers. Fluminense no lo vi tanto. But
no,
Palmeiras has a huge following. Flamengo had a huge following.
Out of South America, Uruguay Red Dragons, they had a good show out. And then the Egyptian team, Al Ahly, they were also
because Al Ahly has a huge following in the New York area. There's a big Egyptian community in the New York area. Shout out to my coworker for letting me know that. But no, yeah, huge numbers out there. Monterrey even showed out. The big match against Inter Milan, I think they had really great numbers. The big match against River Plate, I think al 2-por-2, hasta madrazos agarraron in the stands.
¿Qué pasó?
No, bro, like everybody was fighting at that game. But Monterrey showing up for the Mexico teams. Pachuca, I think they got put in some rough situations. In Cincinnati
of all places.
There's not even Mexicans out there.
Yeah, and it's cold and weather and
it was hot. And then they got stormed out, right?
That's what it was.
No, but Pachuca, we'll talk about it, but ni en la cancha, ni in the stands, they didn't really show up, and it's a bit unfortunate. They got a really tough group, but we'll get right into it. But yeah, let's get right into it with some of the matches. I would say if I could put it into headlines, we got some big surprises. I think Flamengo. The European teams losing were huge surprises, in my opinion. Flamengo got their punch in. They beat Chelsea 3-1. That was a huge surprise. As a Flamengo fan,
you're on top of the world.
I was on top of the world. Pero tú también. Botafogo beat PSG 1-0.
Yeah, that one was huge. It was the winners of Copa Libertadores, who actually lost to Pachuca in the World Cup that they had back in January.
No?
Intercontinental back in January. But now beating PSG, the Champions League winners, the one that destroyed Inter, right?
Yeah. A bit of a light squad, no? También no estaban todos.
Pues sí, pero, I mean...
Was Vitinha there? That's what everyone would question. I think he was fully there, but no, huge shouts to both Flamengo and Botafogo. And as you guys can tell in the background, se está acercando la action here, which is pretty dope to have in the background. But yeah, Botafogo getting their lick in también. And then even some people saying that Necaxa is the best team in the world because Botafogo beat PSG, Pachuca beat Botafogo, and then Necaxa beat Pachuca.
And then nuestros San Jose Earthquakes de nuestro corazón beat Necaxa.
5-0 too.
5-0. So
here, I was there. It was
the mathing.
Yeah, the math isn't mathing there. In other headlines, Martin Anselmi. You know we got a hate watch here. We were hating that fool. And we were watching it. They went winless with Porto. He was pissed in an interview, and apparently he said something along the lines of like, "That's how it goes in a tournament where you have to win every game." And I was like, but you didn't win any games. You didn't. Yeah. You guys ni se vieron. Porto did not look great. The only game that they looked like they had any life was against Al-Ahly when it ended up 4-4. And I was like, that's kind of rough.
Pretty wide. Lots of goals in that match.
No, for sure. Like I mentioned, Pachuca went winless after 2 tough matches. They still have their last match against Al Hilal, but 2 matches they lost against Salzburg, which everyone was like, if you're going to win, you got to win that game because ni te va a tocar versus Real Madrid.
Yeah.
And since the last episode, they lost against Real Madrid. They tried their hardest, but Real Madrid
Courtois was a big factor in that first half. It just felt like Pachuca tuvieron sus chances y si no las concretas. Real Madrid, even with 10 men, they can do so much damage to you.
No, for sure. And they got a red card like in the 7th minute. Asensio for which I thought was pretty hilarious that Pachuca was so scary to them that early on that he had to basically foul Rondon or else he was going to get a breakaway. And then they're down to 10 men, but they still smack Pachuca even with those 10 men. But Jude Bellingham gets a goal out of the Guler Valverde right before our boy Elias Montiel gets his own goal.
Yeah, which are the bright spots. Him getting a goal and Brian Gonzalez getting the goal.
Against Salzburg. Banger of a freaking free kick.
So, a ver, ¿cómo les va against Al-Ain?
Against Al Hilal.
Yeah. Hopefully, if they end with the win, con eso ganas un poquito de dinerito y para su casa.
Yeah, that's still going to be tough to do because they tied Real Madrid.
Yeah, they did. That was the first game. I feel like the first games are always really close.
They tied Real Madrid and then they tied against Salzburg.
So todavía tienen posibilidades de...
No, yeah. If they beat Pachuca, they're at 5 points and they lead the group if somehow the other 2 didn't do anything. They could lead the group if Salzburg and Real Madrid tie. Yeah. So Al Hilal very much in it, and if you look at their lineup, it's strong, and you're just like, okay, maybe they're not as bad as maybe we think. Joao Cancelo, they got freaking Koulibaly, they got their left winger that should be on the Saudi Arabian team is a freaking stud. Like they have good heads.
Yeah, Bonu who's saved the penalty against Real Madrid.
Yeah, I think they very much have the resources, the capability to smack Pachuca. Which would be a rough go for Pachuca if we could stay there for a second. Jimmy Lozano's introduction to the team, when he's already a meme because of how he left Mexico, not really showing any life, not showing any strength for Mexico, and then he's kind of made fun of because he comes after Almada in Pachuca, and then he gets smacked around by 2 big European clubs.
Yeah, de mirar las giras que hacía por Europa diciendo, oh, he's meeting Pep Guardiola, he's meeting all these coaches, like maybe Mexico has some life, to not getting made fun for that. So it's kind of hard to watch, pero, at the end of the day, son los resultados que tienen que hablar por ti. Si no está dando los resultados in Pachuca, it's going to be really hard for him to maybe find a different club after that. Or
do you give him some slack because it was against some tough competition? If he goes winless, like loses all 3 and comes back to Liga MX, would you say like, hey, let's give him a shot, or do you think that's kind of like too bad?
No. I think he still has to have at least a season in Liga MX. I think, yes, you cut him some slack, but it doesn't look good. Like, he's on a short leash after that.
Damn, already.
Va y pierde 4 jornadas back to back. Like, at that point, se le acabó.
Yeah,
And then you gotta bring
especially
somebody
because you look at what Almada was doing. He was he had a couple seasons with them where they in league they were doing great, but internationally they were still holding up. So he never really had a big slip up like that. But then if Jimmy has a huge slip up in the Club World Cup, and then he pulls up to La Liga and Liga MX and he does terribly, I don't really think he has a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
But he's going to get compared to Almada the whole season. His whole career there.
Yeah, and especially because just 6 months ago, this Pachuca beat Botafogo. Botafogo who were recently crowned Copa Libertadores champions. So I think it's just too recent, and he put himself in another bad situation, in my opinion. Big shoes to fill.
Yeah, I mean, on paper it looks advantageous because it's Pachuca, and you're like, bro, like
A bunch
you
of
got
youngsters.
Rondon, you got Idrisi, a bunch of youngsters. Like, you can't mess this up, but you totally can because te dejaron el papelón. Like, I thought Almada was doing such a great job there, and now you have to do a better job.
Yeah.
Because he left, they got rid of him, and I think it's kind of an uphill battle, pretty close to impossible, unless he makes it far in Liga, wins a championship or something. But tough go for Pachuca, but they're gonna head home early. They're basically checked out. Hopefully, more kids get minutes.
Yeah, Elias Montiel is rumored. Is it him?
Yeah, he's rumored to Ajax and PSV.
Yeah, and then there's, I don't know if they're real or not, to Real Madrid. Pretty sure those
Well, Hugo Sanchez even came out and talked about it because they were saying that that supposedly Florentino Perez asked to talk to him directly after the match or something. And then, the moment that they talk Real Madrid, Hugo Sanchez isn't even on set, but he'll pop up and be like, yo quiero hablar de eso. And then he said something like,
Tengo una bomba.
he's like, if Florentino comes to talk, if he wants to talk to you, you're someone.
Oh, okay.
And so, like,
I'll give him that.
Yeah, but who knows if it actually happened.
Sí, pero I mean, es una buena indicación de que, okay, these Ajax talks or like other clubs around Europe are definitely looking.
Supposedly, it's been confirmed that there is a formal offer from one of these Dutch squads. And I even saw some people on Twitter confirming that he's like for sure not going to come back to Liga MX.
Uh-huh.
He's out the door somehow. But he's probably going to go to a development league like the Dutch league and then work his way over somewhere else. I'm not seeing like a big offer coming in from anybody else. It would be amazing. It would be amazing if Real Madrid came in and fucking threw out that wallet, but I don't. But I mean,
historically, the Dutch league is perfect for Mexican players.
Yeah, they just got to get out fast enough because then it starts getting boring.
And talking about Pachuca, we have a scout here from Pachuca taking a look at these players.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe we'll see one of these in Pachuca and maybe in Europe.
I'm getting autographs all day today.
Sí, fotos y todo.
Todos. Put your name down. No me lo voy a acordar. All right. Some other headlines. LAFC, the last invited team, but one of the first ones to go.
Ni las manos metieron ellos tampoco.
Dijeron gracias, pero ya me voy.
Gracias, pero tengo la poderosísima MLS.
You know that tia that pulls up to the party and then she only stays for a second and then she goes around. She's like, oh, "Hola y adiós, ya me voy." Right? That was LAFC.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people didn't even know they were in the tournament at this point.
Yeah, they even lost to Esperance de Túnez.
Hey, con todo respeto.
Con todo respeto. They actually, I don't know if they're still able to. No, they can't. They're done. They're going home too.
Yeah, I mean, they nomás le echaron la sala a estos güeyes. I mean, they tried their hardest. They tied against
Flamengo.
Against Flamengo, which is nothing to downplay. I mean, and Boanga scored a goal. Of course, he's the only one for LAFC that shows any fucking life out there to show that he wants to be there. La Garra, like in their first match against the Esperance team, or the game against Flamengo, I forgot which one. Or they had Chelsea, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just him. Like everyone sucks, and they're struggling in the game, And then they give it to him, and you're like, all right, it's kind of finally even. But ¿cómo se va a llevar
a toda la squad, yeah.
10 jugadores, güey? Like, help him
y
out.
se notó también, I mean, against America, right? He was the one that put them out front. Y again, levantando la mano diciendo, yo soy el mero mero.
For
so
real.
Much that he's rumored to go to America.
Rumored?
¿Qué? 13 o algo así millones?
I think they might have offered like 11, but or like somewhere around that. But LAFC said that they want more money. So
hay que llamarle a Will Ferrell, decirle,
hey,
cálmate.
Hey, we'll put some of your movies on VIX if you bring the price
Pa'
down.
que veas.
I'm dead. I mean, who knows? I mean, America be doing the tranzas like that, so they might do that. But do you think your America would have done better?
Yes, they would have.
No,
America
man.
just...
You guys would have lost against Flamengo.
We would have tied against Flamengo, at least.
Hey, con todo respeto a mi
Con todo
Flamengo.
respeto. Esperanza Tunes, we would have won that one.
Says who? Bro, that's what we thought about these fools too?
Bro, LAFC nomás les gusta jugar contra México, los equipos mexicanos.
Only against your
Pero
America. Because, I mean, they never won the CONCACAF Champions Cup because León, poderosísimo León at the time, defeated them. I mean, tampoco against the MX team, they're the best, except against your America.
Yeah, unfortunately, pero...
I don't think your America would have gone out of this group.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, it would have been really tough.
For God's sake, Flamengo was in first.
Yeah, I get that. America just need... No, si hubiéramos hablado de una América 2 seasons ago, when they won el back-to-back, el bicampeonato, entonces ahí sí te digo, no, cuidado
Before
con este
Quiñones left.
Before Quiñones left. Ese América, el cabecita puerta, estaba Brian Rodríguez, estaba Diego Valdés en sus mejores momentos. Like,
Yeah, he was at
Malagón made that crazy save against Tigres, like
Malagot. No, I don't think even that America would have made it out of this now. Flamengo's Flamengo.
¿Y tus Chivas?
Jorginho's with Flamengo right now.
Oh,
Y mis Chivas, muy bien. ¿Y tú?
I'm dead.
You got me chingaste a la verga. No, hombre, but Chivas would be there. They would show up.
One day.
They would show up. No, we're too busy winning La Copa Morelos.
I heard.
No, prestigious award. You can't sing that. No, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Andamos muy ocupados.
Sí, buscando a pinche Chicharito streaming con Mozo y el otro, el de PSV.
You saw the kid?
Oh, yeah.
Bro, that shit's
up.
beautiful. They pulled the. If you guys haven't seen it, folks, go to Chivas' social media. There was the first video where they give a kid a jersey, and then it's apparently super organic, and he's like so fucking overwhelmed by his emotions. He just looks amazing, just being grateful that he gets a jersey, and then they invited him to the training.
I just seen the video.
Una chulada.
Entrando, pues, pero I haven't seen the full video.
Yeah, Alan Mozo gave him another jersey that was autographed. He said Pulido was his favorite player. He got to meet Pulido. He autographed it. He gave Pulido like a letter. Una chulada. Your fans don't do that.
No, but they should. Props a las Chivas por esto, la neta.
See? It was beautiful content.
I put it in the Discord. I was like, de esto se trata el fútbol, pues.
Even Amaury was in the video, and I wasn't like grossed out by it. And, it was cute. One more headline that I got: Auckland City FC breaking the internet, not winning, but winning in life. I guess they were 0-16 as far as goals for and goals against. 10 se comieron by Bayern Munich, 6 se comieron de Benfica, and then they had to play against los poderosísimos del sur de Argentina, Boca Juniors.
Y Boca Juniors diciendo, no, estos de Auckland, si Bayern Munich le metió 10, yo le voy a meter 20, 30.
No, there was videos where they were
Dios
saying,
mío.
that logic didn't make sense. Obviously, that's trolling, but then they were saying, like, in reality, if Benfica could score 6 on them, we could score 10.
Yeah.
And I was like, eso sí te la creo, de que tú te la crees.
Right.
But I don't think that's realistic. And what ended up happening was they learned. They messed around and found out Porto was playing at the same time Benfica was playing at the same time against Bayern. They ended up winning, which made it Boca's game insignificant. They could win, they could lose, they could whatever. They weren't going to make it through. And then they're up 1-0. They need like 6 goals. But instead se comieron uno de un profesor.
un profesor de educación física, PE teacher.
Beautiful.
From Auckland Grammar.
Beautiful.
There's pictures of his uniform from school, todo proper. Y dijo in interviews, we have part-time jobs, a lot of us, and I'm a PE teacher.
Beautiful. We love the stories. We love to see it even more against Boca Juniors. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Auckland now van a recibir close to $4 million
for the tie.
For the tie.
It's kind of wild.
That they were before receiving only $90 US, what would equate $90 US for their gym memberships, lo que sea.
From the team?
From the team.
They would only get paid for their gym.
Yeah. So $90.
Yeah.
Y que eso era según para gym or para
whatever you need.
Whatever you needed, but it was $90 USD.
Yeah. And then now they're getting. I heard that they're equally distributing it among the team as well, which is awesome.
They deserve it.
We know that Seattle Sounders was not equally distributing it. None of the MLS teams were equally distributing. That's why the first match, the Sounders and all the MLS teams, they pulled up with the shirts that said something about like no equity, no something, because Christian Roland and Stephen Fry and all these fools were calling out that they weren't getting the fair share. The ownership was getting a lot of money compared to the players. But Auckland City, they confirmed the staff, the baloneros, el güey que pinche le echa agua al pasto.
Que even el dentista que se quedó en New Zealand.
Oh, for real?
También.
Damn. I mean, 4 million among like 50 heads. I mean, it's a couple thousand.
Bro, that's
probably like, I think that might be like, if my math doesn't, I think that's like 8,000 a person. Unless it's 80,000, I didn't carry the zero. It's 80,000 or 8,000. You guys let us know in the comments. But es algo dijo el calvo. I think it's 80,000 actually.
No, sí. Luego,
I think it's 80,000.
I mean, doing part-time job y haciendo eso, that's good money.
If there's 50 heads, I think so. Qué chulada. That's what we love to see, folks. I don't know if it was real, but there was a video of somebody posted that like River fans found him at a bar. But I think it might have been a guy that just looked like him, like a bald white guy. I don't know if it was real.
Yeah.
But they were like having fun with him at a bar because they were excited that he eliminated Boca, basically.
Yeah, which Boca, I mean, in a tournament this prestigious, like you expect a team like Boca to at least make it out of the group stages.
No, for sure. But I mean, it wasn't up to them at that point. They also got two really strong teams in their group, unfortunately. So it's kind of an uphill battle. Y pues no se pudo. Ceneice, se les dice, no? They couldn't, and they couldn't, and they couldn't.
And then they got next year.
And it's disappointed. And right now it's looking like, just talking about it, folks, it's looking like tampoco River Plate is going to move on.
Yeah, another Argentinian gigante pues de toda Sudamérica not making it. Monterrey is up 3-0.
3-0, and Inter is up 1-0 over River Plate, who just got a red card as well.
Wow.
Lucas Martinez Cuarta got a red card, and right after, 7 minutes later, Esposito from Inter scored. So currently, Inter is going pa la casa, ganaron pa la casa. Monterrey moving into second. What a beautiful life.
Yeah, and Monterrey having it seemed more like Inter iba a ser primero y uno de esos tres iba a echar. But glad it's Monterrey.
Dude, this is sick. I wish, what we were talking about earlier, I wish Monterrey would have beat River. That would have been the knife in the chest right there.
Aunque even if they wouldn't have made it out of the group, just beating River would have been like...
Because then the rest of it doesn't fall on you, right? But that was a direct head-to-head. And there was so much smack talking from River. You saw that video, that one guy that he's like, ¿Qué es un rayado? ¿Qué es un rayado? No sé qué es un rayado. Es un equipo de fútbol. And I was like, duh, bro. Like,
te pasas, yeah.
Because they keep... there was another video of a River fan saying that even if Monterrey beat them, he's like, what did this them? And they're like, we still have multiple Libertadores.
Bro, we don't
even if we lose, I still have 2 or whatever, how many they got. He's like, todavía tenemos la Libertadores, like las que hemos ganado, aunque pierdamos, aunque vayamos a casa. So low-key, you know we hate watch here, folks. Low-key happy también, even though I'm more of a River than Boca fan.
Yeah, but I mean, estos dos, I mean, just Argentinian teams, especially River and Boca, seem to have that most shit talk. And it actually came up. I don't know if you've seen Paul Pogba talking about this, saying how Argentinians are just, you're happy when you have them in your team, but whenever you're facing an Argentinian player, they can just be the dirtiest.
No, for
ever.
sure. Mira. Ay, la falló el güey. No, yeah, the interview he just came out with Sergio Agüero, right?
Yeah.
And they were talking about how Paredes is the worst of all of them. And it makes sense because, like, I like Argentinian people outside of soccer. But then when it comes to soccer, right, we have our friends, we have our enemies and stuff. And they were mentioning how playing with Argentinos, they're on your squad, you love them. You're against them, you hate them. They were saying that Griezmann, que no se podía ver a Paredes.
Ahí viene, ándale. Ay. Cuidado con la rodilla, no te la vayas a... Como un guante.
All right, so we'll keep an eye out as we finish this episode on how that finishes. But thankfully, that'll be hopefully it'll finish in a good way. Even if they tie, even if River ties Inter right now, they would need one more. The goal differential's there for Monterrey. So I think Monterrey's sitting pretty right now. They did their job. They scored their 3 goals against Urawa Red Dragons. Que chulada.
Que chulada.
Any other games? Any headliners that you want to talk about? Overall favorites before we get into the matches that are actually confirmed? Any favorites that you have? Any teams that you want to call out as disappointing you or just overall performances that stood out?
I think the Inter Miami one was pretty surprising.
That they're doing so well?
Yeah, just, having Porto, having Al-Ahly, que son aguerridos también, Palmeiras, for Inter Miami to make it out of the group like that, I think speaks a lot. It just shows that a veces Messi
magic is there.
Yeah, Messi, Jordi Alba, Ustari. Ustari had an amazing tournament. I saw a stat that he's like worth 100K. Compared to like Donnarumma, compared to these other goalkeepers, de más, categoría se puede decir. But even him, like, had an amazing game and goes to show que a veces teniendo de tomos buenas piezas, te pueden salir bien las cosas.
No, for sure. I mean, scoring banger goals todavía Messi at an international stage. We were all making fun of him because in the games where he doesn't do anything, se ve muy mal. I think that's a reality we have to get to. It's just con su vejez, with his age. He's 38, 39. He's looking really bad, and Suarez is looking really bad. But when they score their goals, they look good. They're in rhythm. Les da confianza también. So they're cooking that game. But it's a reality that when they're not on the stat sheet, they're looking slow. They're looking older. The whole team is hurting because fucking Robert Taylor or somebody else on the team is not going to put the team on their back.
Yeah,
it has to be Messi with assists, with overall performances, and they're getting the most of it. They're undefeated.
Yeah,
draw, win, draw.
Draws, 2 draws and 1 win,
which is not something that any of us expected, in my opinion.
Yeah, not bad at all. They have, who do they have next? Doesn't show it yet.
We'll go into the knockouts right now.
Okay. Another disappointing is Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, getting beat by Botafogo for the last spot in their group. Everyone else got 6 points, and they were the unfortunate ones that the goal differential didn't help. This is one of those, like in the World Cup, where like everyone kind of does well. They have 2 wins, and they don't get to move on. And then you look at some other groups, and they all have like 1 win. And you're just like, that kind of sucks. Probably the biggest disappointment overall in the tournament was Porto, no?
Yeah.
The hate watch that we got, I think... they didn't seem to have the firepower. They were relying really heavily on some of the youth that they have, but I think maybe this is exposing that they need better players and a better coach.
I think for me that's the biggest takeaway is Anselmi just wasn't doing well in league. He carried that into this World Cup. I thought he was going to get fired before that.
I thought he was fired. I was surprised when I saw him on TV, and I was like, God damn, bro, really? But there's some Portuguese people here, that part of the camp, and they were saying that they think that by the start of the season, he's not going to be there. So one can hope. So let's go over some of the confirmed quarterfinal matches, or some of the confirmed, I think, round of 16 is what we got. But so far we got PSG versus Inter Miami. What a benefit for Miami.
Yeah, the script writers, right? Is like Miami Messi against his former club PSG.
Against his former club, against probably the most informed team. But
against
him
Luis
being
Enrique,
Messi,
who used to coach him.
Mm-hmm. What do you think there?
PSG, if they bring the full squad, PSG should have this.
Which you could say whatever you want. A lot of people are saying that the European squads just aren't trying the same, right? But now you're past the group stage. Now it doesn't matter. Like you're trying to win. ¿Pa qué? If we're not going to try, we should have just gone home and not tried and not made it out of the groups. Right. Yeah. So I think teams are going to start putting the pressure on now. And there's big money to be played now. Yeah. Every win is going to be big money. I think PSG is going to smack. I don't think Miami has a chance at all.
Yeah.
Con Messi, even if Messi scores, I think PSG is just going to steamroll.
Yeah.
We also got Flamengo against Bayern. Poor Flamengo. They probably thought if they got first in their group, they were going to play against Benfica.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Benfica beat Bayern, so then they have to play Bayern.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the matches from like the 80s or the 70s on the just random. You'd have like a Selección de Mexico playing like Santos de Brazil or algo. Y me recuerda this match of just Flamengo playing Bayern Munich. But, you know, it's this new tournament that we have, and it's going to be a great match having Flamengo, a historic team, de Rio de Janeiro.
Flamengo, yeah.
Against Bayern Munich, you know, a historic team. And, yeah, I'll be tuning into this one for sure.
No, yeah, that's going to be an exciting one. Flamengo's got to come out con todo. Not even to shut themselves down. I think they have the talent. They got to try as hard as they can. We also got Palmeiras against Botafogo. A big match. Two amazing squads in form. Palmeiras. Botafogo won the El Doble, no? They won the league and they won Copa Libertadores, but Palmeiras been recent winners with all the amazing talent. I think this is going to be a great matchup. I honestly think this is kind of a coin flip. A ver qué pasa. Yeah, you're Botafogo, a chance to move on. But I mean, it could have been worse. You could have gotten...
Yeah, they know each other, so this one's going to be fireworks también. Hopefully the crowd shows out, just knowing that it's a Serie A or El Brasileirao coming to their city. I mean, if they were coming to Levi's, I'd be out there for sure.
Dude, this would be lit. If they could do like a 50-50 like they do in like league games back home, que esté llenísimo el estadio, that's going to be so much fun to watch. The last one confirmed as of right now is Benfica versus Chelsea. Well, first, give me, who do you think? Your Botafogo Muzan?
Yeah, Botafogo Muzan.
Nah, Palmeiras.
2-1.
Nah, Palmeiras. Estevao goal.
¿Quién es ese güey?
Need one of the fucking 18-year-old one, kid. The last one that we got confirmed, Benfica versus Chelsea. That's going to be a good one.
This one's a good one.
Es como que de Champions.
No, pues. Es como de conference.
Yeah, Benfica doesn't do too hot in
European competition.
Champions, and then Chelsea, pues, ni se arriman. Next year they are.
Yeah, but I mean, this one's also a good one. I see Benfica probably in better form, se puede decir.
I think so. Just because they beat Bayern.
Just because they beat Bayern, just because they were able to get out of that group, especially. But I think Chelsea's kind of lousy right now. Just no echándole todo. They beat LAFC 3-0, but they lost to... What did they lose to?
They lost to Flamengo. Con todo respeto, por favor.
Respeto. But I think this one's going to be closer than what a lot of people think.
Yeah, I think I got Chelsea in it. You think Benfica? You said they're in better form?
Benfica will take this one.
Nah. Cole Palmer's got to wake up, goddamn. But yeah, a whole bunch of fun to come, folks. We'll get some more confirmed next round matches after Inter and Monterrey. After Inter and Monterrey get to move on, so that's some exciting stuff to come. Did we ever give our predictions for who we think is going to win it all?
No.
Yeah. Do you have somebody now? PSG dibs.
Stay away. I'll say Bayern.
There's still people that truly believe out there that Real Madrid will win it.
I don't think so.
No, the pieces just aren't there, bro. Their players are signing contracts everywhere else. Yeah. They're out there, and Modric is signing a contract with like AC Milan or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy. Playing, yeah. Let's bring it on to the Gold Cup. We got that happening as well, even though probably nobody's watching it compared to the Club World Cup. But we're locked in now for quarterfinals. So in the quarterfinals, just to start us off with that, we got the U.S. versus Costa Rica. We got Canada versus Guatemala. We got Mexico versus Saudi Arabia. And we got Panama versus Honduras. Some good matchups there. Maybe let's start off with our usual with the Mexico recap. Since the last one, we had the 2 matches. We had their win against Suriname 2-0. Pretty straightforward. I think Mexico overall dominated. We can talk about that in a second. And then they had their draw against El Piojo Herrera's boys, Los Ticos. Let's start off with the Suriname match. A couple of changes that they did there. They brought in Julian Quiñones to do the dupla, the delanteros up top. Cesar Montes scored 2 header goals. Those were the 2 goals overall. Marcel Ruiz got his first start.
Let's go.
Overall, what did you think?
I mean, I think set pieces saving us again. Edson Alvarez in that first game against
First one, yeah.
República Dominicana. And Cesar Montes now with the double out of all people. I mean, you kind of get it's not too surprising porque he's tall. He sabe ir bien por el aire. But, I mean, we were kind of grilling him leading up to this game saying, un mistake, y ya estuvo.
Yeah, that they should get him out. Bring Edson back there.
Right.
Do something.
And then he goes out the next game and scores a brace. It's kind of gives him a lot of confidence and a lot of points for Javier Aguirre to keep putting him out there.
He's actually the second top goal scorer in the entire tournament because he scored 1 against Dominican Republic.
So he has 3 in the tournament.
Yeah, and the top is like Ismael Diaz, I think, has 5, the Panama. So he's cooking. He's suspended because he got 2 yellows. He's not playing. But, no, yeah, Cesar Montes, people making jokes that he turned it on with headers after el putazo que le metió
el reset.
que le puso Mateo Chavez. But he's been balling out since.
Yeah. And the biggest thing for me, at least in that game, is que pudieron meter goal and keep a 0 at the back with him and Johan Vázquez back. You know, the titulares running the show at the back. Johan siempre te da ese liderazgo and that Serie A experience, and everybody else around him feels more comfortable.
And we talked about it. Is just plugging and playing Johan going to get us clean sheets? And they literally got 2 clean sheets.
Yeah.
So it could be the connection. It could just be Johan. We're going to figure that out this weekend because, like I mentioned, Cesar Montes is suspended. So El Vasco has to put somebody in with Johan this time. So we'll see if he gets it by himself. Transitioning us over, they tied 0-0 against Costa Rica. Johan Vázquez back in there as well. They move away from the dupla of the delanteros. They only have Raúl Jiménez in there. No more Santi, no more Quiñones in there with them. Overall, what do you think about the game against Costa Rica? Stalemate, right?
Yeah, still 0-0, pero I just felt like this Mexico is something I want to keep watching. Estaban los primeros 10-15 minutos, estaban jugando de un toque, de pared.
Playing quick.
Jugando rápido a las espaldas. It felt like a Mexico, a glimpse of what we can see in the future. But at the end, era Navas.
Yeah.
So
Keylor.
At the end, it was Keylor Navas who saved them. Raúl Jiménez, they had a corner. Alexis Vega with some amazing corners this tournament, by the way. Put in another one on there. They header it, and Navas saves it. Y salen rebotes, and then
Raúl on the half
Jiménez
turn.
gets on the half turn, half volley.
Beautiful ball.
Beautiful shot, and even more amazing save.
Yeah.
Like, I jumped out of my chair when I watched that live. It was crazy. But ultimately, I think that was the deciding factor, just having somebody like Keylor Navas back there.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best goalkeepers CONCACAF's ever seen, really showing up at this point. I think as well, it's a little bit of a lack in quality and finishing in Mexico to be able to get past that hump against such a good keeper, unfortunately. Yeah. I think that's what it is. Raúl Jiménez having as much quality as possible to almost put it away, but like nobody else like ellos iban a ayudarle.
Yeah.
Like if Piojo Alvarado gave a shot, I had like no confidence that it would be Keylor Navas. It felt to me like the only one that would have had the quality to put a goal away was Raúl Jiménez, and unfortunately everything was getting blocked by Keylor at that point. Like you mentioned, Vega having a really good game. We got Luis Chavez back in for the first time in forever as a starter, heavy minutes.
Yeah, and I think overall funcionamiento, like you said, is no más de los delanteros. The not being able to be clinical in the final third. Porque I felt really good. I felt like Luis Chavez had a good game. Edson Alvarez helping out the defense. Marcel Ruiz knowing when to attack when going forward. Cuando regresar. His game was really good. De los dos lados, like you said. And then Mateo Chavez, for me, was really good. Like one of the best left backs that we have currently. Y eso que apenas se fue a Zeta Alkmaar. And una proyección de del tiloncillo. Like,
yeah.
Inmensa.
He has a lot of good qualities. He's exciting.
Yes.
He's a solid defender. Como que, like, es su profesión. You see him and you're like, bro, that dude can't play anywhere else. But he could fucking play that position. Juega con su banda.
Serio.
He plays that 90-degree angle with your corner. Like, they bred him to be a fucking lateral izquierdo, especially because he's so lefty. No, and this guy, le vale weenie, bro. This fool's flying y te da un madrazo. Sí, he was getting into, like, arguments with players, and he's just laughing it off. This fool's got the touch of the tism, like, and you got to protect those players that just, like, bro, he just looks like all he wants to do is play soccer and probably goes home and plays FIFA.
Yeah,
like,
I really like him. I know he's a Chivas player and all that, but I really like him as a left back.
And on the other side, everyone hates Jorge Sanchez.
Yeah.
Everyone's hating. Bro, everyone moved off of Charlie because he's not getting the light of day anymore. Like, nobody cares about him anymore. So they're like, all right, who else? And they got the target, and they're like, Jorge Sanchez.
Se me olvidó que tú también no me gusta.
Te odio a ti ahora, cabrón. I didn't think he had that bad of a game.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, I think of Jorge Sanchez, and I watch him play, and, like, I get excited, and then I get let down.
Yeah, but what do you want? Like, do you want? He's not the guy that's going to put the assist, because he's less of a wingback than, like, a Gallardo. Gallardo is más wingback, right? Y te va y te viene. También parece que Mateo Chavez is kind of de esa escuela. Jorge Sánchez, we've always known, he te ayuda más en ataque, pero no te ayuda mucho en ataque.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do well defensively.
Exactly.
Right? And
it's like he's stuck in between, como tú dices, ni uno ni el otro.
Yeah, he's not great. He's not great at attacking, and he's definitely not great at defending.
It's like, okay, then why put him out there?
He does the job. He does a good enough job, which we know Vasco kind of goes for that sometimes, that secure play. That's why he goes for Charlie, right? Because maybe somebody else like Marcel Ruiz might give you that little bit more, but he thinks that there's a chance that he may not. So he puts the guy that he knows will give you at least what he needs. And I think that's the same thing he does with Jorge Sanchez. That's why he doesn't go with Julian Araujo. Yeah. Julian Araujo would give you could give you jumps in quality, pero mejor el güey que yo sé que, like, can defend at a high level. He's did it in Europe, and le traigo confianza.
Yeah,
I've seen hella tape on him, and it's frustrating at times. But, like, también sometimes I think people ride some of these players to the dirt for no reason. Edson Alvarez is within reach now. I think he would be the next one up because people are starting to see what I've been talking about for the longest time. He's not dynamic enough. We had Travis and Ruiz in this game, and they were moving.
Yeah, and you could see it. It's like, as an America fan, I want to defend Edson Alvarez hasta la muerte, pero I also want for what's best for la selección. And certainly Edson seems to be getting to that point donde es indefensible.
Yeah.
It's like, sí nos ayuda a recuperar, pero luego he always plays the safe pass. It's like we can never get something more out of him.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And when you start getting more and more dynamic in the mid, when you start getting Marcel Ruiz and Luis Chavez, he gets overexposed, and sometimes he sits way too deep. So then you think the mid is doing good because it's Marcel Ruiz and Luis Chavez cooking. But then you're like, bro, wouldn't we be better if we had Eric Lira in there and Eric Lira was box to box with them? And then you have three players that are just comandando todo de la media. But Edson is del capitán, and he's there. And yes, he defensively has a really good play. And then against some easy teams, he'll take the ball away super easy. And then he just gives the simplest of balls, and then they do it, right? But sometimes we need Edson to do more than that, especially against the tougher teams.
Right, yeah, especially against competition que que también tienen esos recuperadores, que también tienen esos guys que corren para arriba y para abajo, como lo hace Luis Chávez, como lo hace Marcel Ruiz.
Yeah. What did you think about Costa Rica? Do you think they're a pretty strong team? They have a future? They have a lot of youth players.
Yeah, they have a lot of youth players, but they don't have that one clinical player that you're just worried about. Like, I felt like Costa Rica back in the day, even Honduras, El Salvador, you'd always want to watch out for one of those players.
Yeah.
Los cubres, y we did our homework. So I feel like Costa Rica need that lethal player, that leader up front que les ayude to get over, like in Mexico, 0-0, como lo que estamos pidiendo nosotros con Mexico. And they don't have that now, and they have an aging center backs like Calvo and like Navas, an aging goalkeeper, que no sé si les van a dar pa mucho todavía.
Yeah, that's where I think they're in between generations, right? The Brian Ruiz's back in the day, Celso Borges and all that stuff. I think the guy that's supposed to be that is Ugalde, Manfred Ugalde, that plays for Spartak Moscow. He's a baller, but I think Vasco knew that también y lo aniquiló. He didn't have anything against Mexico. One thing I wanted to call out, he came off as a sub, and es el Estrellita, right, from Costa Rica. I don't know why it caught my eye that when he came out, Pio Herrera went to try to like give him a hug and be like, come on, like you'll do better next time or something. Y como que lo tiró de loco. Like he let him hug him, but he was just like, whatever. It gave me the vibe almost like that. He was like, bro, I play in Europe, and you're not like a European coach. You're just a Mexico coach. It almost gave me that vibe.
Yeah, but it also kind of reminds me of Santi Jimenez, because I feel like that's something Santi Jimenez would do. He'd like come out
un berrinche
and,
or
like,
something.
No, más como that.
Or like be hard on himself or something.
Yeah, like be hard on himself, and also having like that like I should have done better, or a little bit of what you're saying. Esa como
yeah, because if it's like feeling bad for himself, like damn, I should have done more for my country. I have the ability. I'm the leader of this team, and I feel bad. That totally makes sense. But a little part of me couldn't help but think that he just didn't want to, like he sees Piojo as like just his coach, right? It's not like his country legend that's coaching him or anything. He's just like, bro, fuck off, like 0-0, whatever. And I don't know. It just kind of struck me a little bit weird. I was like, I wonder if they respected Piojo. I guess that's what I was getting to. Do they think that he is quality enough to lead them to greater things from a player, one of the few that are at like a high level in Europe? But yeah, I see bright stuff for this Costa Rica. I low-key think they're on upset alert that they can beat the U.S.
Wow.
I think so. Just by matchups. U.S. teams always do terrible against Central American teams, more when it's away.
Yeah.
But sometimes those styles hit perfectly, and you can get a Panama, you can get a Costa Rica that can sneak a result by them.
Yeah, and when you say away, I feel like if you don't go west of like Ohio, that's away for the U.S. men's national team.
Especially against a Latino team.
So we'll see.
Let's talk a little bit about the U.S. The last two matches that the U.S. they got past Haiti, they got past Saudi Arabia pretty easily, no problems. Big questions coming up for them in some of the individual performances, though. Como que the results were too easy, so you have to look a little bit deeper against Haiti. Matt Freese had that huge blunder where he kicked it right to the Haitian forward, and he got an easy goal away. Thankfully, Malik Tillman saved them, and they got the win there. Saudi Arabia también, it was a little bit too easy.
Yeah, and I feel like just overall, looking at the scores, you can tell que they just squeezed right by. No squeezed right by, but their quality wasn't great, a U.S. men's national team, but the other team wasn't good either.
Mm-hmm.
So I think my biggest question after seeing the U.S. men's national team is, like you said, can they beat a Costa Rica? If they get past them, can they beat a Mexico? Like, are they really favorites, or are they like third place team, or can Costa Rica really just knock them out now?
Yeah.
Because I don't see quality there to be champions, to be honest. It's like, yeah, por ser Estados Unidos, like, okay, they're kind of favorites, but they just haven't shown it.
Well, the roster is a bit tough. I would even go out to say that the roster, the quality is not 100% there. Malik Tillman's there. Tyler Adams is starting to show up. He's the captain, and low-key, I think he's he's getting to that level that he was before, where he was like, I'm the guy, right? But they're having to get good performances from unlikely heroes like Patrick Aguimang, the forward, who I think is a great forward. But you would have thought that it would have been the Jordan P. Fox, the Haji Wrights that they had before, and the Josh Sargents, but they're just not there. But Malik Tillman showing up. They need him. They need Tyler Adams. They need Diego Luna, if he can break in, to have these big performances in the next rounds, because the competitions are going to get harder.
Yeah.
I think Costa Rica is going to be a really tough one for them, especially because this U.S. squad doesn't have those superstars that we know of.
Yeah, and we know Piojo Herrera knows them. Like, Piojo Herrera has played MLS teams before, has played U.S. teams before.
Played the U.S. a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for the U.S.
Yeah, and they can't solve that goalkeeper problem. Matt Freese is not doing it. And then who's there? Matt Turner, también. Whenever they put him in, people are like, no, get him the hell out. So, like, they can't figure it out. Zach Steffen is injured. So, de todos no se hacen uno.
Yeah, después de tener dos en Europa, Zach Steffen and
Turner.
Matt Turner. No, ahora no tiene ni uno.
And these are the best that they have. The keeper position, they don't have anybody kind of hold out. So I think that's going to be a big problem ahead of the World Cup next year. Let's get into some predictions then. Like I had mentioned, we have the knockout rounds. The U.S. is on the same side as Canada and Guatemala. So in theory, I think that's always a good one to look out for. Who does the U.S. or Mexico have to pass through Canada to make it all the way through? And will they unsuccessfully do it? USA versus Costa Rica. Who do you got there?
I got Costa Rica.
No way. You just made fun of me for saying that they have a chance for cup set. I think they got it.
No, yeah. I mean, just talking about it, the U.S. just doesn't feel for me, diciendo that they're going to be good enough to go against Costa Rica. And also, El Piojo Herrera, thinking about it, a lo mejor is going to be a big factor. He was against Mexico. Mexico, they tied 0-0. So I think he's going to play a factor in here as well. And, you know, Costa Rica, I have him winning 2-0.
Te voy a llevar la contra just because, and I'm going to say that the U.S. is actually going to win this time. Diego Luna, brace of assists, baby. Captain America, the real one. And Tyler Adams is showing up now. If they can figure out the goalkeeper situation and Matt Freese doesn't just give up goals like that, I think they'll be good. Canada versus Guatemala, who would face your Costa Rica or my U.S.?
Canada.
Easy, no?
Easy, yeah.
Guatemala's looking good.
I want, in my heart, Guatemala to win, but I don't think it's going to be.
We're talking about it earlier. Los Chapines in group against Guadalupe almost gave it up. 3-2 win, barely snuck by, but they had a goal that was pulled back that they looked like prime Barcelona. Like they were tiki-taka. Con todo eso with El Flaco Tena, the quality is going to be there, unfortunately.
Yeah. Even with no Alfonso Davies, Canada's just going to be way too good.
Canada has some strong names. They're even getting new names out of nowhere. These fools pull European players out of nowhere.
Yeah, and also Canada's growing.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So both of us, Canada there. On the other side of it, Mexico versus Saudi Arabia, which in my opinion is probably the strongest non-favorite underdog team to play against the favorite. Who do you got?
Mexico.
Easy?
2-0 también.
2-0. Pues va a estar un poquito difícil.
What do you got?
I think Mexico moves on. I think pretty easily, too. I could see them getting scored on like a 2-1. But I think they have to. I think it's an expectation that they have to win the entire thing. You can't get knocked out in quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Their opponent would be Panama or Honduras.
Panama has this. I think Honduras has been dreadful. They lost 6-0 against Canada. Yeah. And they just barely squeezed by porque El Salvador y Curazao nomás no pudieron hacer nada.
Yeah, they won in the head-to-head against Curazao, who were losing. They're missing two of their best players, so no pudieron. But yeah, I agree. Panama is really strong right now relative to all those Central American nations. I think they could give a lot of fight to Mexico and the U.S. But I think they move on. So we got USA against Canada on my side, Costa Rica, Canada on your side. Who moves on?
Canada.
Easy.
Well, not too easy, but yeah, Canada's the big favorite here.
That's where I think Canada. I got them beating U.S. And then I have them facing Mexico. Who do you got? Mexico versus Panama.
Mexico, yeah, finds a way to win again, just like in the Gold Cup final.
And you have them winning the entire thing.
Yeah.
Same. Así es la cosa, same as 2023. It's been 2 years since that 2023 where El Santi had that cutback goal where everyone was screaming, give him a chance, he'll score something. And then they finally do, and he gives us the win. Let's watch this corner, folks. Aquí en vivo, homeboy. Levanta la mano. Is that you? Okay. No, hombre, ¿qué gastaron? Y ahí va el contragolpe. Se va a la contra. Ay, qué buen robo de balón. A ver, ay, un recorte hacia adentro. Corremos con el balón. Seguimos. Suéltala, compita. All right, folks, that's all that we got for you. So let's bring it on home with some games to watch. Cesar, give me some.
In the Club World Cup, we got Flamengo against Bayern Munich. South America against Europe. Big South American team. One of the good ones to watch, Flamengo, Serie A, the top of the Serie A right now in the Brasileirão, Copa Libertadores champion. Really interesting players, and a lot of these players you'll probably see them later on in Europe. So keep this one in mind.
For sure. I got Palmeiras versus Botafogo, as I was mentioning earlier. 2 huge Brazilian powerhouses. I'm expecting this game to look like if it was played in Serie A and El Brasileirão back home. If so, I'm going to be tuning in just for the vibes. I think this is going to be a great one.
You take it to the Gold Cup. You got Mexico against Saudi Arabia. It's a rematch of that 2022 third group stage match.
Mm-hmm.
Mexico coming out well, but Saudi Arabia may be able to surprise. The winner of this game plays in the Levi's, so a ver si gana México.
It's going to be so empty if it's Saudi Arabia. Jesus Christ. I'll stay in the Gold Cup. I got USA versus Costa Rica. A bit of a hate watch for some of us there, even though I guess the U.S. is going to win it. The U.S. was perfect. 9 points, but low-key kind of a faceplant into those 9 points. A lot of questions with the goalkeeper. A lot of questions with if this squad has the it guy, the it team to be able to pull through. They have to get through Piojo Herrera's men.
We're going to take it to some local footy. We got the USL Jägermeister Cup. Definitely never had one of those.
No.
You got the Oakland Roots against Monterrey Bay FC. This game is always has some spark, always got maybe some tussle, some fights in the past. So I know it's going to be a great match, and I don't know, maybe El que pase, maybe we'll see him after. We'll go to a game or
let's go. No, yeah, y'all know from the vlogs that's one of our good games to go watch in person. Lastly, I got the Cali Clásico, San Jose versus LA Galaxy. Unfortunately, we're not going to be tailgating at this one. The summer just gets a little too packed with things.
Yeah, and it comes quick.
It comes really quick. So I'll be straight up. We didn't plan ahead, and we had some family stuff to do and stuff. So we'll do another tailgate before the end of the year. But this is going to be a great match. They always do a fireworks show there after the game. Pero yo ando bien pedote. Usually I just go home.
If you guys want discounted tickets, hit us up because I have some discounted tickets.
You do? Ay, ni me dijiste a mí, ni me invitaste.
Apenas me mandaron el email ahora.
Ni me invitaste, ni nada. The Quakes went out to a taqueria in Palo Alto, and they were giving out free tickets.
In Palo Alto, bro.
If you pull, like East Side, I think. East Palo Alto, right, which is hood. But I think they gave you a free ticket if at the counter you said like Beat LA or something.
Oh.
But good stuff. Get involved with the community.
Beat LA.
But that's all that we got, folks. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Live from Del Mar High School.
Live, but this is not going to be live when you watch it. But follow Pichichi. They'll be on our social media. Subscribe to us wherever you're tuning in, especially on YouTube, folks. We're like at 415 subscribers. Get us to 500. Help us out. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Peace.
Peace.